everyone. Good afternoon to you all, or good morning, depending from where you're connecting from. I'm Ju from Ironhack, and I'm very happy to be here today with Chus again. He was a speaker for one of our last month webinars. He's going to introduce himself in a bit, and he's going to be talking about designing with AI and taking your ideas from concept to creation. So this is going to be a very interactive session. I'm going to explain how to use this platform first of all, and then we can get started. So on your top left corner, you can see myself, and you can also see Chus, who's going to be speaking through the presentation. Underneath that, you can see the bio box. On the bio box, you can know more about Chus, and you can connect with him on LinkedIn. Feel free to do so, and feel free to check what he's up to. Underneath that, you have a very important box for this session, which is the Q&A box. Feel free to leave there any questions that you have or to interact with us through there. In the middle, you see the slides. You will see Chus' presentation here and everything that he will be explaining. And on the other side of the screen, you have the related content box. There you can find the other webinar that Chus did a month ago and some other information about Ironhack. If you want to know more about Ironhack, don't hesitate to click on the Get More Info button and to get more info from our team. And they'll be happy to help you with any doubt that you might have. Last but not least, a very important thing that we have on this platform, it's the Ironhack chat. If you don't have it activated, don't worry about it. You should go on the toolbar underneath and click on the bubble that it says Ironhack chat. And then you can click on there, a chat will pop up. Feel free to share any thought there. Feel free to share where are you connecting from. Some of the audience is already saying hello through there. Hello, Ivan. Hello, Christina. Very nice to having you here. We're going to have a big audience today, so feel free to engage through that chat and to comment everything you like. And now I don't want to speak anymore because I don't want to steal the stage from Chus. So I will pass the mic on to him. And that's it. So Chus, the floor is yours.
Hello. Thanks everybody for joining us. First, I'm going to introduce myself, and thanks, Julia. I'm a UX UI designer with more than 10 years of experience. I'm working in Barcelona in a design studio, and this is my second webinar for Ironhack. The first one was how I use ChatGPT. It was a bit theoretical in the way that I didn't explain with any real example how I use it, but I talk about how I use it. And we decided to do a second one this time where I really show the screen and live I create some designs using ChatGPT. So I hope you enjoy this session. I will try to do it as hands-on and practical as possible. I would do some questions during the session so feel free to respond in the Q&A box. If you don't respond, no worries. I would use ChatGPT, of course, for it as well. That's the point. So I would share the screen in 1 minute, and I would show you two apps, ChatGPT and Figma. I use Figma as my preferred tool for UX UI design, and I think it's very quickly. You would see I use some shortcuts, so don't worry about that. That the goal is not to be as quickly as I am or learn the shortcuts of design in this case, but more about how to implement the text of ChatGPT into a real design. So I think that's enough for the intro. So I'm going to share the screen as I promised, and yeah, I hope you like it. Feel free to do any question in the meanwhile, okay? Okay. I think I'm sharing it already.
Yeah, now we can see your screen, Chus. The ChatGPT one and the Figma underneath.
Perfect. So you see the Figma now, right?
Yeah, I see the Figma now, and we all do.
So these are two examples of something I did for myself just using ChatGPT and a basic wireframe tool I created by myself. So I create two brands, one of sneakers and another one of eco products. And the idea actually it was also suggested by ChatGPT. I would try to do something similar today with you guys and girls. I would go back to ChatGPT and I continue with the presentation so we can use that as a basic script of the workshop. So yeah, I'm going to start with a bit of intro for how I use ChatGPT. And well, I'm not sure if everybody who is joining today joined the previous one, but basically I explained that all the phases of design can be, or you can use ChatGPT to help you with it. So the idea is not that it would do the work for you, maybe in the future, but to me that's not the point. The point is to help you to do the things you are less good at it. It can be things the client should give you and maybe he didn't give you at the beginning or she didn't give you at the beginning, so you can ask ChatGPT to fill you with that info, or it can be documentation part, or it can be really proper layout ideas or graphic design ideas. To do that, I have like three basic things I like to do with ChatGPT, and it's what it's explained here in the presentation. So I want to give ChatGPT focus, explain a bit the scenario where it's playing and the context. You would see now what I mean with it. But basically, you want to tell ChatGPT if you want it. In our case, probably you want it to behave as a UX UI designer. But it could be that if you want help with the SEO of your website, maybe you want that ChatGPT to act as a SEO expert or as a copywriter. Maybe if you want help with the part of filling the elements of a website. So you start just telling ChatGPT, please act like the expert you want to be. After that, you put the scenario of what you really need from it. So you can tell him, I need the text for a website for the homepage section or for the hero section of the homepage. Probably before pressing intro, it's a good idea to give as much context as possible so the answers would be more connected what you have in mind. Otherwise, it may be a bit random, which is not a problem because you can do more questions to get more into the conversation. That was one of the main things I tried to explain in the previous webinar. So you should engage in the conversation as much as possible with ChatGPT to get those questions. So as I said, context is good, but you don't need to do it at the first time. So I'm going to start with it. Okay, this is what I call feed the beast. It's a ChatGPT. GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. The pre-trained is what it's been feed before, but you want it to feed more the beast or the robot with more information. So it's in the same page that you are. So let's start with something like act as expert UX UI designer with experience as copywriter. Let's start with the idea, unless you have any idea that you want to share already with me, and we can go for it. Otherwise, I would just ask ChatGPT. Okay, I see there is no questions. In this case, we don't need a lot of context because we are just starting. Let's see what does it say. It's thinking. I could show you the example of Ecofusion, for example, that I did. I just show you if it takes too long. It's already working. It's good. E-commerce store for sustainable products. Actually, that's the one I already did. The connection was lost with the second screen. Hope you still can see me. Okay, second idea, fitness and nutrition app. That could be a cool idea. You still see the screen, right? Okay. Virtual interior design service. That's nice as well. Anyone you prefer? Okay, let's wait for the fourth one just in case.
So choose the audience saying that if we could choose number 1, please.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. We can do a variation of the one I already did, so you can see also how it's good to do variations actually. E-commerce store for sustainable products. Let's create an e-commerce store that offers sustainable products such as organic clothing, bamboo, kitchen, reusable water bottles. Your UX/UI design can emphasize the eco-friendliness. Okay, perfect. I copy the text just in case. Let's leave ChatGPT finish, but we can already ask for a short brand style guide, so we know already how to start to design which colors, etc. And after that, we can ask for a wireframe. Okay, this is going to start to get interesting. So we'll do a variation of this one because this one was already kind of that. So you see, this is a very generic question because I told, can you describe the brand style guide? And they describe how it's a brand style guide, but we want an example of a specific brand style guide. That's very common. And what I usually do in that case is like, please give me a specific example. Okay, but it already says it should be modern, clean, and visually appealing. It's pretty obvious, but it helps. So we can write it here as a kind of a briefing. We ask here for a color palette, and it's very nice because it already gives you these values that you can try, and if you don't like them, we can go for more. So let's try with this one and see how they look. So we copy the values and we say, okay. 34, 139, and 34. This is the forest green. Let's do the earthy brown. It's 13969. I think it's not bad. It could be maybe a bit more subtle. We can ask for do it a bit more pastel, but it works actually. It's interesting. It's nice. What do you think? We can use this palette. Okay, then we have like a super basic style guide already. We know the colors, we know it needs to be modern, clean. Let's ask for an idea for the wireframes of the homepage, for example. as simple as this. Can you describe the wireframe of the homepage? Because it's already trained. You started talking about the brand. ChatGPT already is describing that brand. So usually you don't need to put a lot of information when you already are like 3-4 questions deep into the conversation. Okay, a header with the brand logo, navigation menu with various links to categories and a search bar. Hero section, this is classic. High quality image, large, with a tagline. Let's do this super quick. So I made these wireframes just to go quickly. We can use this as a header, for example. This could be the logo. So we have a logo here. We don't have to do exactly what it tells us. This is just a guide. So he said, header, you say search bar and some links, but it didn't say the logo needs to be on one side or another. And even if it says, we don't have to do it exactly like that. We can just try things down. So it's just super basic wireframe. Okay, it's the first step just to see if things make sense. If they don't, we can change it. And it's very, very important part of the process because it gives you a lot of overview on the project. And the idea is to do it with all the different pages. But I think in this case, it's more interesting to do one page and all the faces with that page instead of all the wireframes of all the pages. That would take maybe too much time. So we have the header. We need a hero image. This could work for the hero image. So each box with an X represents an image. I guess you already know all of that, but just in case. And this is a hero, and it's going to have a big text with the values it said, no? High quality image that showcase the beauty of sustainable products, and with the tagline or headline, with the mission of the to create a more sustainable. Okay. Headline. We can use this as a headline, so when you don't have an X, it's a text. This is the hero and the header already. After that, future product sections. Would highlight the company best selling and most popular products. They would go here. This is the hero, and this is the header. We can use this for the favorite products. They may need a description and a button, so we can use actually these ones, and the button can be this. Or we can use just this without the description, for example. After that, we have the benefits section. What are the benefits of sustainable living? This can be maybe a bit more like this, with more text. Let's say this is the text. So this is the benefits section. We can add a divider to separate these different ideas or blocks. Behind benefits, we'll have the call to action. Yeah, this is really a big message and a super big button that direct the consumer to buy more. This is like every good website with a good conversion should have one clear call to action, and you can repeat it overall, and it always have this go to the same place. And after that, the footer. Okay, discover products. This is the CTA, and the footer that will go here. footer usually would have the social buttons. Let's put it here already. And the call to action, we need a huge button here. We can add a bit more text. And we'll ask ChatGPT to give us this text after that. And probably it has a bit more text on the footer, like copyright or things like that. So you see, we have already the wireframe. And we are going to ask ChatGPT now to give us the ideas for a more realistic design, what I call the mockup here. So something a bit more like this mid-quality mockup, okay? So we know already these are the color values. We can put them here. And we delete the content and we'll ask GPT for some help. To move to the next slide, by the way, just to continue with the presentation. Okay, this is a good example of what we can do in this step. For example, list 5 ideas for layouts for this homepage. This already we did. Write an example of the brand personality. So yeah, we are in the wireframes phase. As I said, if you do it by yourself and you have all the time in the world, I mean not an hour, you can ask to do all the prints of the journey or the workflow. So you get like this wireframe, but for the complete web or the complete app, and that's really, really useful. But now we'll go for the visual and brand elements, okay? We have the wireframe here. I hope you like it. It's a super basic wireframe, but when you see all the pages with this style, you can really see if the idea makes sense. For example, if I would be working instead of in e-commerce and something very informative, this hero section maybe doesn't have enough information. Oh, now that I see this one, also I think the call to action could be also in the hero. So it's very easy to critique this type of design and think if it makes sense. It's good to do it as fast as possible just to have a clear idea of what you are doing, and if you validate if it's continue to work on it, to just continue with the next phase. So we are going to go for the next phase actually. So we ask to describe the homepage. And we're going to do something quite interesting, that it's tell ChatGPT to present it in a table. Super useful. You see what I mean if at the first. I see someone asked about using plugins with AI in Figma. I have to say I haven't used them yet. I'm looking forward to use them, but for this session, I'm going to use just two plugins that they are not AI related, that they are for Unsplash photos and for icons, so we can do the design faster. And I'm sure they're really, really nice plugins for Figma already. I was reading also about cool plugins you can use in Google Docs. So you can use integrate already ChatGPT into the documents. And I want to use those in Figma as well. But I think it's good to start just doing it like this, because then you can get a grip or understand better how to use it. And you just apply what you get in ChatGPT to the Figma program. It's just a matter of switching screens for now, just as a way to start understanding the AI. Transparent background. Okay, you see the table with all the elements. It's super useful. So we have the header with the company logo, navigation menu, and search bar. Clean and simple typography, transparent background, the hero section, the tagline with full image, full with image, with clean and modern typography, radius corner, Okay. I want more text though. I'm going to ask. Just for the hero section, an example test of it. So sometimes it's better to just go step by step. Okay, we can use this as a headline. It's pretty good. And by the way, we don't have a name for the brand. We can ask also to give a few ideas while we build this. Okay, let's start. This is the logo. This is the menu. And we have search bar here. The menu was going to be transparent, it say. We can go for it. So this. Okay. Search bar. We're going to look for a photo with the Unsplash plugin I was mentioned before. Nature. Or let's say echo. Yeah, something like this can help. What do you think of this photo? Ah, I think it can work. This is the hero photo, okay? We're going to add the, it's a bit too bright, so we're going to add the white overlay, so it helps us. Okay, add the names. Early gods. I see there is another question. Sorry, I'm going to finish this and I will try to answer. I have a few points here I really like. They can work, I think, for us. This is the search bar, so let's do something quick. This. Here it would go the headline: discover a world of sustainable products that are beautiful as they are eco-friendly. Okay. We have a very basic hero section, but here it is. If you consider how fast we are going, I think it's pretty good, right? This bold font, maybe it's too much. I don't like the photo. I think it has too much color. Let's see what else we can find. With eco-friendly, maybe. Okay, this can be nice later on for the products, so we'll use it. This is very light. Yeah, one is good. And I ChatGPT told us to do it transparent, but I think maybe it works better with this hero section, something with a bit of white, even if it's not sent, but maybe something like this. Actually, I think 100% in this case works pretty well. We just need to do a smaller header. Yeah, this could work. And this could be the future products. You remember we have them here, which are the most popular. We need the call to action. I would say let's use the color of the palette, one of those. So maybe this one. Ooh. Yes, I think it could be white, or we could use actually this value. See how it goes with this one. Actually, we can use this value in the full screen, just doing this. Maybe it's too bluish for the rest of the colors, but let's leave it like this for now. And this would be the same style we can use for the call to action of each product. A bit smaller. So the CTA is clear. It's this one. And product name. Okay, this could be an example. I think the images are too big, but maybe something like this could work. I use auto layout as much as possible. As you can see, this is very, very, very nice. Adjust automatically. I could use it also in this image, but for now it's good. So you see we have the hero and the future products. So I'm going to ask a second question. I'm going to answer, sorry. How would you use ChatGPT in a redesign of a single page that needs to match the rest of the design? Okay, it depends, which is not the answer you want, of course, Chris, sorry, but maybe I would use it just to fill the information. So let's say the style of the website, I already have it with the previous screens. I use exactly the same style, but I ask ChatGPT to give me text for that page because it's what I don't have time to do. For example, I'm not a good copywriter, so I ask for some real content or some examples of a content of a website like this. Also, what I could do if I don't have any idea about the layout of the page and I need help with that is like you describe how it's the website. So we could say I'm going to do an example here. No, I'm not using a design grid, and I should, but since we are just playing around and it's a draft, that's the reason I'm not using it. But it's always a good, I can actually do it. So let's do it. When I use it, I use usually 18 columns, some margins. Thanks for the suggestion. So maybe 60, it works. Yeah, no, I wasn't using a grid, but we were almost using a grid, as you can see. Now, here it is the grid. So replying to the other question, which was tricky, Yes, I usually work with a design grid. It's very, very important. The thing is, when you are brainstorming, that is what we are doing right now. I prefer to not worry too much about the design grid, and I prefer to think more about the concept in general. And then when I start to do the next phase of these designs, which is way more polished with the real photos and the real text and everything with more depth in it, it's when I go with the grid. But at the beginning, I'm more worried about the general feeling of it. And about the other question, which was very tricky, how to use ChatGPT for a single page when you are already designing something that already has a style. So maybe you don't ask about the style because the style you already know it, but you ask about the layout. And the layout it describes it's agnostic stylish wise, so you can use it like that. So we can have, instead of the, well, actually we have here the benefits section. We are going to ask for layout ideas for the benefits section. What do you think of the logo, by the way? Quite simple, right? Early gods, goods. And we should add here some categories we don't have now. We would ask also about it. Okay, instead of layout ideas, this is a bit more like content ideas, but we can go for it because it gives you different things you can try, no? Like something interactive, an infographic that displays statistics and information or comparison chart. Let's use the infographic, for example. Or testimonial. Testimonial is quite easy as well. Right? An example. Testimonial. Describe it. Design. Yeah, that's a good question. The question was, does ChatGPT generate unique brand names that are not trademarked? I'm not 100% confident about it. I would say that you can play with those ideas, but don't use them till you haven't tested somewhere else. Google it, check different places for the names. So here we are just playing around the same way that with the photos. These photos are from Unsplash, and supposedly, well, you can use it because I don't know if you know Unsplash, but it gives you permission. But I wouldn't just go for these photos. The same for the typography. Is this a typography the client can pay for it? It's something you have to consider as well when you deliver the design. But this is just a test of an idea. So when you are testing it, yeah, you don't have to worry too much on it. But actually, if you really want to create a business, you have to validate everything. And actually, that's a very important thing. ChatGPT can give you mistakes. It can give you really wrong answers sometimes, and this is because it predicts every time based on what it finds in internet or what is fed. So you shouldn't just trust blindly ChatGPT. Never. It's just a guide. So our trade market, I don't know, but I wouldn't sell these ideas. I would test them a lot before using it. I hope that replies to your question. Oh, we lost the search bar, and that's it because we don't have a stroke on it. So let's use this brown for the stroke actually. So we can use the full palette. And in this case, we can use the black. So, okay. This is the testimonial. I want to look for a photo of a person that looks like could talk like this. Let's say portrait. photo. So, no. Okay, let's try with a different one. Yeah, this one. So convention in testimonials for some reason is to make it a circle, and I think it helps because it gives this different feeling, so you know it's not a regular product or a photo of a person, and like I don't know, it gives something special about it. So here we have testimonial section. So, yeah, Johnny, happy customer. Use this. And we could have a title like see what people. Oh. Let's ask for a headline for this section. We lost the second screen. Real stories from our happy customers. This is cool. We can do something like this. Centered, or it could be left aligned like this section. Let's go back to our grid if you want. And we can use 4 here, another 4 here, and then we have here, I guess, 8. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting. We can use the value color it gave us and just put down the opacity. This is something I like to do. So we have very, very basic, but we already have like the hero. So what do you think? Makes sense for you to use ChatGPT like this? I think this section makes more sense. Center. Okay. Let's see what's said about our section. Series of quotes, customers, stories, the company. Photo, video of the customer. Okay, we can have like a slider, so it looks like there are more photos like this. What I do in these cases is I delete one. So this is going to look like a slider, I promise. Use this color. For the stroke, the green one. So you see the contrast and you see the first one is selected. And put it in the center, and you know you can navigate with these links, with these arrows to the different. This is a bit too long, so feel free to ask ChatGPT to make this text sorted. I like this one for another title, by the way, so let's reuse it. And we go back to this layout, maybe. And we can take some of these photos since I already have them. Okay. I think this is better like this because we have 4 columns and now maybe it's to have another 2 columns inside these photos. It's a bit too much. So we can make it like this. And let's add another photo from Ans Plus. Okay. Let's see what happens when you. Yeah, this is nice. We can use this as inspiring photo of what you can get with your home if you go and buy things with your site. And let's use the text, the shorter version. Yeah, this is better, right? Okay. So here we have a very, very basic, but it's at least something you can play around with. So we'll have the footer here. We could use the extra color. We haven't used yet. Or we could go yeah, I think this is a bit too much. I would prefer to go for a dark gray, something more neutral. And here you would have this. Social networks, for example. Oh, right. So yeah, this is here you have the wireframe and here you have the first version of the visual design. Do you have any question about it or something else you would like to see? We have 10 minutes extra. I added some prompts here that you can use in the presentation, so maybe you can see all of them before, but it's a bit what I've been showing during the webinar. So use words like describe or list when you want a list of a few ideas. And yeah, this is what we did. For example, can you describe a wireframe of, and here you say the brand they already gave us. Can you describe a wireframe of the Eco product brand? And you see what it happens. Yeah, we can play around a bit more with it. Oh, there is a question I haven't replied. Sorry, Oren. Do you usually work like that, or you use a design grid? Ah, yeah, I missed that. I use a grid, but not in the first steps of the design. I like to use the grid when the design is already established, but here we are playing around with the art direction and the main colors. And once I believe in this concept is when I start to do the proper designs with the design grid. There is another question from down. Does ChatGPT generate unique brand names that are not trademarked? I already replied to that one. I won't use those names to trademark. Being honest, maybe you can because supposedly it generates new content, but I prefer to use ChatGPT as a guide, not as a holy truth. But I think I could use it if I have like 20 brands and one I really, really, really like it. But before doing that, I would do a lot of research. And if you use ChatGPT for important questions, also do research about it always, just to check they are correct. For example, don't use it with health things. That's way too important to trust AI from my point of view. But in case you do it, don't trust that blindly. Don't trust that answer blindly. Please just double check or 3 times check. Yeah. Oh, this pod is not
Hi,
here.
Chus. So there's some questions on the audience chat as well that I think it could be interesting to answer. So there's someone that missed the first part of the presentation, and they were asking if you had a brief to work out with. Can you explain again for those people who missed the first minutes? How did you start?
Yeah. Yeah. And about the brief, the thing is sometimes in this case we were just playing around with funny concepts, so we asked ChatGPT to give us the concept. But 1 second, I'm going to stop sharing for a second and I would go back.
Great.
Okay. So one thing I really, really like of ChatGPT is that can give you a proper briefing. And many times the client knows what he wants or she wants, and you basically more or less know that because you know the client for a long time. So instead of giving you a proper briefing, they tell you something like, make a website for my brand, you know me, and do something I like. And then it's like, okay, that's not a briefing. You go to ChatGPT and you ask ChatGPT to write the briefing for you, adding all the details you have in mind. So you say, you describe the brand, you describe your client, considering like that those the goals that the brand could be, and you said, okay, I need the briefing for a website, considering the best practices, considering these values of the brand, etc. And you can that use as it would give you back a briefing that you can really use as a good starting point. And I think that's one of the very strong things it can do for you as a designer. And there is also a
Amazing,
question
thank you. We
for
have another
Dave.
question also. So Fernando is asking if you do use ChatGPT for assistance with your real work on your day-to-day.
Yes, I use it in my daily work, and that's actually the reason we started to do this webinar, because I don't consider myself like a theorist or an expert in AI, but I start to use it as soon as I could. And the we plan, Julia and me, to do this session sharing how I use it. And so this is real. I use it for
Also,
things I don't really enjoy or things that.
those are good tips. Thank you. We also have another question here on our Q&A box. I think you can see it on your end as well.
Yeah, from Dave. Yes, it's a very
Yeah.
good question because why
So
I
just
worked
to
in
put
the
the
desktop
audience
first.
on the same page, David's asking why are we using a desktop layout first, and if we are going to use a mobile layout.
Yeah, it's a very good question, and maybe I should start with mobile first because there is this mobile first approach actually, and things are very easy to do responsive when you start first with mobile. And for some reason, I do first desktop because I think it's more visual. It helps me to see the flavor of the website better, because maybe 90% of the people would see it on a mobile, but the ones that see in a desktop, they have a lot of real estate, and I want to give them the best experience for that real estate. But it's very important when I do the desktop to consider everything needs to be stretched down. So that's one of the reasons I use a 18 columns grid, and it's important, the grid, because everything I did in this website can be moved to one column, and that's what I would do in the. I'm going to share the screen a second just to show you. So in the mobile desktop, what you want is to put everything in one column. So basically, it's like this. Boom. So I know this can be compressing one column easily, just putting the image stacked together. I know this can be put behind the image as well, so this could be done quite quickly. But if you do a very complex layout, that's not so easy. And that's the reason many people start with the mobile first, and I think it's a very good idea as well. But it's a personal thing. I like to show desktop first. I think it gives a lot of help to the client.
Thank you.
I hope it was
We
clear.
have one last question here from Beatriz, who's asking, can you tell where you've got your components for the wireframe?
Oh yeah, that's an easy one. I draw those myself with the tablet, so that was like a 10 minutes work. It's just some boxes with some X, some crosses over it. And I recommend you to do the same. It gives this
So
personal flavor.
thank you very much. I mean, this was an incredible session. I don't know if you have any other questions. That's the time to send it. We have a couple of minutes to answer one more question. But I just want to say that this was an amazing session. It was very practical, and I think anyone here can use this as a guide on how to create something similar on ChatGPT. Some of the people on the chat were asking if they would get the recording. Yes, you all will get the recording, so you can watch this video again and as many times as you want, and you can pause it and see what Chus asked to ChatGPT, which at some point the audience was a bit confused about, and you can see and you can repeat again the webinar as many times as you want to check that out. So I don't see any more questions. I think this was very, very clear. The audience seems very happy and they are all having nice words to you. So I'm just gonna
Yeah.
end it out here and say goodbye to everyone and thank you very, very much to you for this session because it was amazing.
Yeah, it was very nice to share the screen and work with you all. Very exciting to do it. Thanks a lot for staying. I hope you learned
And to
something.
the audience, if you want more webinars like this with Choose, just please leave a comment down below on the chat so we can schedule more work and more workshops with Choose further on. Okay. Have a nice afternoon to everyone. Once again, thank you very much, Choose. This was amazing. And see you all soon.
See you soon. Thanks.
Bye.